Hi all, welcome to another video. So everywhere if you see whether it is in X or in YouTube, people are talking about the 50% tariff imposed by Donald Trump, right, for Indian products, Indian goods and services. So I thought I will talk about few questions that requires proper explanation, like what is tariff, why he is imposing a hefty tariff of 50% on Indian products, and what are the implications, how it's going to affect the Indian stock market. So let's begin with asking the basic question, what if tariff? Tariff is nothing but a tax imposed by the government when you import product from other countries, right? So here in this case, Donald Trump has imposed 50% tariff on Indian products. So let's understand how that's going to work. Suppose we are exporting and America is importing a jewelry from India, which is actually priced at $1,000, right? So the price of that jewelry is $1,000, but due to the 50% of tariff on the price of product, so 50% is priced or charged at the price of the or the cost of the product that the US is importing. So in this case, it's 50% of 1,000 rupees. I mean $1,000. The price of that jewelry is $1,000, right? So 50% of that $1,000 is charged as tariff. That is $500. So if a buyer is buying a product from India, he has to pay the price of that jewelry, which is $1,000, plus the 50% of tariff, which is $500. So 1,000 plus 500, a total of 1,500 needs to be paid by the buyer who is from US, right? So how it's impacting, right? I mean, if you think in terms of the buyer, he has to pay 50% extra just to buy a product from India or just to import a product from India. Suppose the same jewelry is imported from, say, some other country, and the tariff for that particular country is only 20%. The buyer from the US has to pay only 20%, right, which is $200. So ideally, if two scenario comes, the buyer will choose the country which has less tariff, right, which is 20% or whatever. Some countries doesn't have any tariff, for example, ideally. So this is the impact of tariff, like when it comes to 50% or whatever it is, right? So right now Trump had imposed 50% on Indian products. So now the next question is why he is imposing such a big tariff. It's not just to India, even he has imposed big tariff to China and even other countries as well. So why is he doing that? So the number one reason is it's related to the trade. India, when it comes to India and America, the trade, India has a trade surplus. So basically, America is importing more products from India compared to the export. So the import-export ratio, if you take, America has a trade deficit or India has a trade surplus with US. Secondly, the most important point is that Trump wants to make sure that more and more products are manufactured within US. It's like a Make in India program. Trump want Make America, right? I mean, Make in America. So he's doing everything possible so that the manufacturers, instead of importing products from other countries, they should manufacture within US so that more American people gets job, right? The economy, I mean, the local economy will boom, more employment, things like that. So it's also to make sure that if there are certain states in US, like basically manufacturing driven states, there the people voted Trump only for these reasons. like Trump, when Trump comes, he will push the manufacturing more and more, so that the local people will get jobs, right? So these are the reason. I mean, two three reasons, the main reasons. If you ask, these are the reasons Trump imposed heavy tariffs on India and other countries. Now the biggest question, right? Which are the sectors that's going to affect? Firstly, how it's going to affect our Indian economy, right? First, I will talk about sectors, then let's talk about the economy. The main, the foremost, first and foremost sector that's going to be impacted with this tariff is gems and jewelry. So India export a lot of jewelry stuff to the US. So that's pretty much impacted. Secondly, textiles and apparels. We have a big US used to import a lot of textiles and apparels from India. Next is electronics and other hardware equipments. Fourth one is seafood. We export a lot of seafood to US. And lastly, pharmaceutical. But pharmaceutical, it's a very important ingredient, right, in medicines. I don't know, I mean, how that's going to impact, but yes, there is a possibility of pharmaceutical industry getting affected by the tariff. So if you take all these sectors, right, these sectors contribute to a large chunk to our GDP. So if this 50% tariff is executed or it's active, then experts are analyzing that it's going to impact, or it will affect the GDP by around 0. There are, the numbers are different, but minimum between 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. So there is a reduction of 0.8% of GDP in this financial year if this kicks in immediately. So like we are expected to grow by 7.5 in that range, and if this comes, then our GDP growth will reduce to 6 to 6.5%, right, in that range. So yeah, the impact in that term is huge, but again, we don't know how much it's going to affect us. Like nobody knows exactly. So that's where the next question, the next topic of discussion matters the most. How it's going to affect the Indian stock market, right? Of course, the stocks that are facing these particular sectors are affected if this kicks in. So even we are hearing news is that the US buyers are canceling the orders of jewelry and other things already. The cancellation has already started kicks in, and any company that has heavy exposure to US market will be affected severely. So but to the short to medium term, 6 months to 1 year, I would say, the stock market can be shaky, volatile, and we don't know. I mean, that's where I think. I mean, personally, if you ask me, it's very uncertain for the foreseeable future how the stock market is going to perform. And we all know that stock market doesn't like uncertainty, right? So that's the reason you can see that every day the market, someday goes up, then some days it comes down. It's very volatile. Investors are clueless. Even I watched Vijay Kedia's interview, and he was saying that he's sitting with 30% of cash, right? I mean, he doesn't know, he doesn't have that clarity on what's going to happen. So predominantly that's same with all investors. Indian markets are going through a turbulent time because of lack of clarity. Fundamentally, there are no issues, but because the policies are not constant, things are changing drastically. These things affect stock market badly, right? So what we can do as investors, that's the last point I would like to discuss. How can we navigate this situation, right? I would say any sector that's India facing, mainly doing business within India, there won't be any changes or there won't be any effect to such sectors or such companies. Like I would say any company its revenue is mainly coming from India, such company won't be affected by this tariff. So I would say let's look for. I mean, if you want to invest, if you have cash, so you can. I mean, probably we can consider those companies uh, that has very minimum exposure to US or any other markets outside India, right? So India facing companies will will have very limited uh, impact on this tariff. So yeah, so ideally we are entering into a very uncertain uh, times. I would say stock market clearly. I don't know. I mean, and also the nature of Trump's decision making, right? That also very unpredictable. So we don't know what he will talk tomorrow. So if everything goes well, suddenly he will revoke this decision. So then everything back to normal. Stock market can rally. Anything can happen, right? So very unpredictable, very uncertain at the moment, I would say. So we have to brace for. So we always, I mean, as stock market participants, we should always think through the worst case scenario and make peace with it. So little bit of stoicism is ideal for stock market investors. So yeah, let's wait for the worst. Let's prepare for the worst and accordingly uh, take decisions. I would say, especially when it comes to investing. Yeah, that's pretty much about the tariff and how it's going to affect India and Indian stock market. And yeah, if you have any questions or doubts, feel free to ask in the comment section. We can discuss about it. So that much I thought I will discuss in today's video. Let's see you meet you all in another video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.